So in Parashat Vayechi, as we see in the Sefer Torah, in the beginning, usually in the Parashiot, they have a separation between each parasha to show it's a different parasha. Like, for example, like let's say it's Parashat Noah, it just became Parashat Noah, and Bereshit just passed by. Right after Bereshit, it will skip like maybe a couple of words, lines, something, to show that it's a new paragraph, new thing. Now here's the question. In this week's parasha, from last week's parasha, we see there's no separation at all. You can't see, there's no separation, no nothing. Meaning that they're both together. There's not even any separation, because usually there's at least a 9-letter difference. That's a separation between each parasha. So of course the question is why is it just together like that? Why is there no separation? And there's the answer to this question. There's a couple of answers. One of them being that we know the next week's parasha, and everything, we see that the Jews, they start getting tortured by the Mitzrim, the Egyptians. They're torturing them, and everything bad's happening to them. Now the question is, when do they start this hatred? Because we know once in Mitzrayim, they were fine with the Jews, and then sooner they started to hate the Jews, and then they started torturing them and everything else. So basically, what happened here is when Yaakov died. Basically, what happened was, one of the answers is, all the Jews, they gave up hope. That what? That they won't. That they would. That if So basically, they gave up hope that the Mitzrim will not torture them. Once Yaakov died, they had no doubt at all. It's gonna happen. It's together. It's closed. Like, no doubt for sure, 100%. We know the Mitzrim are now gonna torture us. Once Yaakov dies, and that's it. And this week's parasha, Yaakov Avinu died. So what happened when Yaakov was still alive, the hatred was still very small. It's not that big. It was not so bad. But once he died, everything started. And then, of course, that led to our whole story with Mitzrayim and everyone. They got tortured, and of course they leave Mitzrayim with miracles, 10 makot. Well, yeah, that's one answer. When Yaakov died, they just lost hope. They closed. It's just together, like, no doubt. That's one answer. Another answer is actually from Rashi. That it says, also in this week's parasha, we also see that Yaakov blessed his children. One of the main points of this parasha, Yaakov, before he died, he blesses his children. Now, what was Yaakov's original intention? To say when Mashiach's going to come, the end of days. That's what the pasuk even says. But then it just starts talking about Reuven, you'll be this. It starts blessing all the Shevatim. And Rashi says is that basically what happened is really Yaakov, in the first place, Yaakov was to reveal Mashiach. Hashem was supposed to tell Hashem. He knew when Mashiach's coming, and then he forgot it, and then he just went off topic. He just started blessing the Shevatim. So basically, what happened was, what does this have to do with anything? So really, this means Yaakov was supposed to reveal the Mashiach to the Shevatim. We were supposed to know when the Mashiach's going to come. But here's what happened. Instead he forgot, of course, because if we knew when Mashiach's gonna come, then everyone won't even be a Sadiq. They'll be Sadiq last second. They'll do Teshuvah because we know there's a concept of Teshuvah. If there was no concept of Teshuvah, then we have to be righteous from day one. But Hashem already saw that's not possible. Why? Because the world can't survive without such a concept Teshuvah. So really, what happened over here is that Yaakov, the Ruach HaKodesh he had, it left him. It was closed, like his mind closed, so to speak. That's another answer why the two Parashot are together. And basically, there's another answer. Now, before getting to this answer, we have to understand. Sometimes we see the Torah skips letters, skips lines, and you have to skip those letters. You can't just write it all together. And the question is, why do you have to skip it like that? We know some people, why do they skip paragraphs? They separate the paragraphs, maybe for organization purposes, to tell this is what this topic and that's the other topic. Some people to not to make it all one mess. When you're starting something new, you say a new topic, but sometimes you see in the Torah that it just skips a line at the randomest topic ever. Like, it's just so random. It doesn't even seem like you're starting something that much new, and basically it just skips the line. So now the question is, why does it do that? And the answer is, whenever the Torah skips a line, it skips something, what is it coming to teach us? It's teaching us that there's a significance into those words that the Pasuk previously said. The Torah is basically telling you, go back. You should go, this is something very important. Maybe go deep into it, something. And depending on how much words, how much letters you skip, the Torah skips, it shows how important that subject was. So if the Torah, let's say, skipped like a couple of letters, it's important. Why? Because if it skipped the letters, it has to mean it's important. It's something you should go back, learn it again, and make sure it's down clear, because it's very important. Now, basically, we're saying over here that why isn't there any separation? Yaakov was a Sadiq. Of course this has to be important, so it has to be some type of separation. So why isn't there a separation? That makes the question even bigger. And the answer is because you know how important this subject is? You'll have to skip too much lines, too much. It's so important that there's so many lines that have to be skipped. But the thing is, you're not going to go skip 100 lines and then start writing again. But again, if you skip 2-3 lines, it's not showing the exact value of what it's talking about. So it's not possible. So it's then there's going to be a problem with the Torah. Oh, it's not as important and everything. So it's just too important, so to speak. That it's just showing us how important Yaakov, this episode of Yaakov's death is. And a lot of times we have our great Gedolim. Of course, they're all passing away, unfortunately. We're running out of big rabbis and everything. Recently, Rav Shaul Kassim passed away. And we're losing many rabbis. Back then, of course, they were on a much higher level than us. Every generation back, each generation was on a higher level than the generation after it. So basically, we should appreciate really how much our rabbis, at least we have rabbis today. Who knows where we're gonna be in 20 years? Maybe all the rabbis are gonna die, all the big rabbis, and the reason why we have rabbis like this is, and most of them are usually old, is because basically they didn't have things like we have today. Back then, there was no phones, there was no nothing. So what else could you do except for becoming religious and learning Torah? But now, today, we have a more modern day thing. Now we have other things to do, and that just changes everything. So basically, what this is teaching us is Yaakov. It's teaching us how important the great Gedolim's deaths are. We have very big rabbis, they died. Especially today, they're just, back then we could understand they died, okay. But today it's much more important than everything. But what did the Hachamim tell us? Yaakov didn't die. That's what they tell us. So we know Yaakov's body was physically is dead. It doesn't function anymore. And the question is, what does the rabbis mean? Oh, Yaakov didn't die. Of course he died. He died. It doesn't make much sense. And really, it's a very hard question, tough question. And the Kabbalah, see if you can understand what this means, says, when Yaakov was fighting the Malach of Esav, after he fought the Malach of Esav, and the Malach of Esav gave Yaakov the name Yisrael, he got a new neshama, total new neshama. He had Yaakov neshama, and now he has Yisrael neshama. New neshama, total new. Right when he got the name Yisrael. So, that's what Kabbalah teaches us. And how does this apply to our case? Kabbalah says that Yaakov, which neshama left him? Yisrael left him. So Yaakov's neshama is still here. But Yisrael's neshama is gone. Now, of course, you can't really understand what this means. This is Kabbalah and everything. But I'll try to give an answer. I'll try to give some type of answer. So there's a Gemara that says, when is a person considered disconnected from this world? When he dies, when is he disconnected from this world? When can he not see anything? When can he not hear anything? When? The Gemara says that really, when you first die, you're still connected to this world. You could still see everything, you could still hear everything, you're still connected to this world. But once you get covered up with the sand and everything, then you start to see less in this world, and you start to hear less in this world. It just gets lower, it just gets less and less. When the Gemara says, when does it end? When are you completely disconnected from this world? When the worms, they completely eat your body up. When there's nothing left of your body. Everything was eaten up. Now, based on this, you could come up with an answer that we know Sadiqim. You see, it's amazing that you can see the Sadiqim, their bodies don't get eaten up by the worms. They stay away, but you see the Reshaims, right away, they're eaten up. And what I think what Kabbalah is trying to tell us is that really, Yaakov's body, he's still connected to this world because Sadiqim's bodies don't get eaten up. And what happened to Israel? What happened to that one? since it was only added on later on, it's not the main neshama. That one just left. That's a possible answer. I don't know really, but I just give an answer. Well, so yeah, it's very complicated to understand. What does it mean, Yaakov? He's still alive and everything, but yeah. Now that's the bottom line about that. So now let's move on into this parasha. And we find, as I mentioned before about with the Rashi, that Yaakov wanted to reveal the Mashiach, but he forgot. And the famous question we all ask is, when is Mashiach going to come? When is Mashiach going to come? We all want to know. It's a very big thing. We all want to know Mashiach. We all say, oh, Mashiach's going to come, this and everything. We want the Mashiach to come. The question is, how do we make the Mashiach come? What will make Mashiach come from our actions? Do we have to learn Torah? Do we have to do mitzvot? Do we have to have peace with our enemies? What do we have to do? I mean, of course, those things are necessary. But what's going to cause the Mashiach to come? In order to answer this question, let's go to another subject. In a couple of weeks ago's parasha, and not too long ago, when the Shevatim were born. Now we know who had the most Shevatim out of the Yaakov's 4 wives. Leah. Leah had 6 children. Well, of course, including Dinah was 7, but 6 Shevatim. And all the other, the Rachel, Bilhan, Zilpah, both had 2. They all had 2. Now here's another question. How come, what type of zehut did Leah have to have 6 Shevatim, 6 sons? What type of zehut? How come Rachel, big tzaddik, why didn't she get 6 more Shevatim? How come Bilhar Zilpah? Why Leah? Why did Leah have the zechut to have the most children out of the rest of the wives? And the answer is because she wanted to have children. Now, hold on. I'm pretty sure every mother wants to have children. Who doesn't? Which mother wouldn't want to have a child? Why not? So this doesn't really make any sense, this answer. Because I'm pretty... what, you're saying that Rachel, Bilhan, Zilpah, they didn't want to have children? What does that mean? Of course they did. But here's the difference. We're not talking about some kid that grows up, he goes to public school, he goes to all these places. We're not talking about that type of kid. We're not talking about some ordinary kid. We're talking about the Shevatim. All the Shevatim of all the Jewish people. This is what we're talking about. The start of Bnei Israel. So now, based on this, we can answer our question. What does this mean? It doesn't mean Leah wanted to have children. Of course you want to have children. But Leah wanted to have Shevatim. The difference is, of course, Shevatim, they were Tzaddikim, they're gonna be the Shevatim. You see, this person comes from Shevet, Reuven, whatever, Levi, all these different Shevatim, it comes from this. Now why what's so important about being able to actually, to want to have children, to want to have a shevet? What's so good about that? You want to have a shevet? Okay. So how does that give you a zehut for anything? Just want to have it and that's it? Just because you want it doesn't mean anything. And the answer is an unbelievable answer. When you go, you're learning Torah, you do some type of mitzvah or anything. You're doing whatever you have to do. A lot of times, today I have to put on tefillin, I have to go to shul, I have to learn morning and night, everything. Okay, I learn. It's great. It's really, I fulfilled what I have to do, my obligations. I didn't do anything wrong. And the truth is, of course, you didn't do anything wrong. And now, what if it's a cold day, freezing day, I can't come, it's blizzard, I'm sorry I can't come today. Why? Because it's freezing outside, or whatever the case might be. It's very hard to do. That's some of us. We just do what we have to do, like robots. We just do what they're programmed to do. But human beings have a bigger capability than being a robot, than just doing what's told. It's not just a computer program. You do this, you copy. It doesn't work like that. Human beings could desire to do things. A computer, whatever it's programmed to do, it doesn't want to do it. It's forced to do it. But a human can desire to do something and cannot desire. If he doesn't want to, then he doesn't want to. If he desires it, he's going to go for it, of course. The more you desire, the more you want to do something, the more effort you're going to put into making that happen. If your dream is to be a basketball player, then you're going to work hard, you're going to train, you're going to do all these things so you could become a basketball player. But if it's not even your interest, you're not going to even bother. What's the point? Something that you yearn to do is something that's most likely going to happen. Most likely something that's going to come true. Something that you really, really want to do very badly. It's a mitzvah. Even if it's snowing, I'll sacrifice. I don't care if it's snowing outside. I'll go to shul, I'll pray with the minyan, everything. There happens to be a halacha in Shulchan Aruch that says, how far does a person have to go out of his way? Out of his way, not... Let's say he's driving in his car, right? And he has to get to a certain destination. He's going south, let's say. And let's say he's going to whatever this place. And now he just realized, I have to pray with the minyan and everything. I have to go catch a minyan. And he knows there's a minyan, but it's far. I have to go out of my way. I have to make a U-turn and then I have to go the opposite way. I have to go north. So what does he do? Does he have to do that? Does he not have to do that? So the Shulchan Aruch says if it's gonna take 18 minutes or longer than 18 minutes, you don't have to go. Just pray by yourself, do whatever, and that's it. Of course, if it's on your way, what's the question? Of course, you should stop by, pray by the minyan, and whatever. But if it's out of your way, the max you're required to go pray with the minyan is 18 minutes. The longest time of walking or driving, whatever, is 18 minutes. So if it's longer than that, you don't have to pray with the minyan. If it's going to take longer than that amount of time, you don't have to. But okay, so you could say, okay, I don't have to pray with the minyan. You don't have to, so I'm not going to go. I'm going to be late to my work or whatever. But if you go, you make the U-turn, you show you yearn to pray with the minyan. Even though it's not required in this case to pray with the minyan. But you still go out of your way You show you want to do it. Something you yearn to do. Something, it's important to you. You go out of your way, I'm going to go pray with the minyan. And you want to, with excitement and everything, go. This is the type of person Hashem looks for. A person who yearns, someone who wants to do Hashem's will. Do what Hashem wants him to do. Not just be a robot. I did what I have to do, that's it, I'm done. I want that you, Hashem says, you yearn, you love to do it. And you be willing to go out of your way. Forgetting about the circumstances and actually going to pray or learn, do something. Even though you don't have to. Now, we see from here that if you yearn to do something, if you want something in your life, you yearn to do it, you put the effort, you try to make it happen as much as possible, that's when Hashem will answer you. In the tefillah, Amidah, Shemona Yisrael, you pray Amidah. The more kavanah you have, the more likely you are to be answered. Why? Because you show you have a bigger will. You put more effort to make that come true. Even though, of course, there's the concept. Hashem, when Hashem says something, it happens. There's nothing going to be changed about that. If Hashem says this is going to happen to this person, it's going to happen. Okay, fine. But you could still change that by praying. Or by doing something, by showing you want to do it, something you yearn to do. With all your effort, you don't care. If you really want something badly, if you're looking to get married or something, of course you're going to put all your efforts into it. That shows you yearn to do it. Something you're not interested in of, you're not going to even waste a second on putting an effort into it. If you're not interested in driving a car, so you're not going to even take a driving test. Or if you're a kid, you're in school. You want to do good in school, so you're going to study for the tests. But if not, you don't care. And of course, that comes through effort. Even though if Hashem doesn't want something to happen, it won't happen. You're still showing Hashem, I really want to do it, so please, please, please. That's the time when Hashem is going to answer. Now, getting back to Leah. What happened with Leah? Leah, she did everything she can to have as much Shevatim as possible. Why? She wanted to be the mother of as much Shevatim as possible. And through that have a zechut to bring Bnei Israel. Well, this teaches us something that's very important for us. We want something, we do as much as we can. Depending on how much we want it is how much we're going to be willing to sacrifice, how much we're going to be willing to put effort in. But of course, if you're not interested, you're not going to do it. So what this teaches us here is, Leah did everything she can. She didn't say, okay, yeah, I'm going to have children or whatever. She yearned. She wanted to do it so badly. She wanted to have the children. And Hashem said, oh, that's the way you want it? More than any of the other sisters. More than Rahel and Leah and then Bilhah and Zilpah. Leah had the most. She wanted the most. So you want the most, I give you the most. So the answer to this question is, is that really, when you want something, you do whatever you can for it. So it's just based on the fact that you want it. That's how it's going to come true. Now let's get back to this Mashiach thing. When's Mashiach going to come? How do we know? When could it come? Of course, we don't know exactly when it will come and everything. But how do you make Mashiach come faster? Or if you want Mashiach to come, how do you make it come? You have to want Mashiach to come. Simple. Or you could say, oh, what does that mean, I want Mashiach to come? I mean, you think about it, oh, Mashiach, I wonder, I hope he comes. Why do you want Mashiach to come? First of all, you have to have a good reason why. Like, you have to have a reason, oh, you know why? Maybe because then I could serve in the third Beit HaMikdash. I could serve Hashem, I could bring korbanot now and everything. Now it's gonna be great. So we want the Mashiach to come, so we don't have to suffer anymore and everything. All those types of things. The other day I was in a darush and I stopped by for a bit to hear what's going on, and what they said about this person who just passed away is that she wanted the Mashiach to come, and I was like, what? So what if you wanted the Mashiach to come? What's so good? She was always saying, Mashiach's gonna come, Mashiach's gonna come. I'm like, okay, if she wants Mashiach to come, it'll come, okay. So what's so good? You didn't do anything. You didn't perform anything to make Mashiach come. So what's so good? Why were they specifying that in the Darush? And this is the answer. Because of course Mashiach, of course we're gonna have to do our part. I'm not saying we do nothing, all we have to do is want it. Of course we're gonna have to do mitzvah, we're not gonna do everything. But what I'm trying to say is that really Mashiach, we have to want the Mashiach to come. We're not gonna just sit down and just say, okay, Mashiach's not gonna come or whatever. Of course, many people don't want Mashiach to come because they know what's gonna happen. What's gonna happen to them because not everyone survives Mashiach. It depends really if you're a Sadiq or not. Most people won't survive, like Makat Hoshech. Most Jews, around 20% of the Jews survived Makat Hoshech. The rest of them, they all died because they didn't have the zechut to leave Mitzrayim, so they all died over there. The same thing with Mashiach. Mashiach, when he comes, we have to do our part, of course. That's what I'm trying to say. We have to do our part. We have to be Sadiq. It's not like we could just lay down, sit back, do nothing, and just say, I want Mashiach to come, You have to actually do the things too. The reason why is when you want something, the more you want it, is of course, the more you do it. The more you would be willing to do it. The more sacrifice you would have. But when you want something, you put as much effort to get it. That's the bottom line. And if you want Mashiach, you're going to do everything you can to bring the Mashiach. That's it. So if you want Mashiach to come, what do you have to do? Just want the Mashiach to come. That's the first step. Want the Mashiach to come. So that's that. Now, let's move on to something else in this parasha. We know Yosef. Reuven was originally the Bechor. Of course he was still the Bechor, he was still the oldest in the family. But he lost the Bechor rights. And who got it? Yosef. The question is why? Why? What happened that Reuven lost it? And what happened that Yosef got it? Why did Reuven lose it and why did Yosef get it? That's the question. Of course, to answer the question, let's first look at how Reuven lost it. What did Reuven do wrong that he lost the Bechor rights to get double portion? That's the whole thing over here. When the father dies, then the Bechor gets double portion. That's how it works. And Yosef. And what's the double portion in this case? The double portion of Eretz. That's what we're talking about over here, which went to Ephraim and Menashe, Yosef's sons. So anyway, what happened was, what caused Reuven to lose his Bechor, right, is it all starts when Rachel passed away. And of course we know why Rachel passed away, is because Rachel, because she stole the Avodah Zarah, and she was sitting on it, and of course Yaakov cursed her by mistake, and then she died. So, but when she died, and whatever, really, when that happened, Yaakov was laying with Bilhah. Now comes Reuven. He said, huh? I know Leah and Rachel, they were rivals. And they're kind of like rivals. They both wanted to have children and everything. Now Bilhah and Zilpah, the maidservants, it comes them. Now you're gonna want. Why are you comparing the maidservants as rivals to Leah? And not only that, now you're making it like Bilhah is better than Leah. First, let's just clarify something. Yaakov, we know, when he was going to marry the wives, his original intention was to marry Rachel. That's priority, the main wife. But what happened? We know Lavan tricked him, and he gave him Leah. But who came with Leah as a present, so to speak, like a present? Zilpah came with Leah. You take Leah, you might as well take Zilpah with her. And then when Yaakov married Rachel, came Bilhah with her, just like as another present type of thing. So the maidservants are not really the main thing over here. It's really Rachel, then Leah, and then the maidservants. That's how the order is. So what happened over here? You're comparing someone who's more important to Yaakov, more priority, was the main wife, to a maidservant? How could this be? This is what Reuven was saying. It can't be this. Why is Yaakov sleeping in Bilhah's tent? Why not in Leah's tent? So Reuven was mad. So what did Reuven do? He took Yaakov's bed, he moved it to Leah's tent. And that's what he did wrong. He moved the bed from Bilhah's tent to Leah's tent. Now, of course, the question is, what did he really, what's wrong with that? Come on. All he did was he moved Yaakov's bed. And not only that, was for a good purpose. To defend her mother, who was really the main wife at the time. So really, it doesn't seem Reuven did anything wrong. All he was trying to do was to defend her mother from so that she doesn't make Bilhah look better than Leah. So what's really wrong over here? What did Reuven really do wrong? And the answer is that he disrespected Yaakov. It's true, he gave respect to his mother Leah, but he disrespected Yaakov through that. And there's a concept. If you do an mitzvah, but in order to do that mitzvah, you have to do an aved afterwards, no mitzvah at all. If you were to steal, and you give to tzedakah, you get a mitzvah or no? Of course not. No mitzvah, nothing. You did it through doing an avera, through doing a sin, an avon. That's not how you do things. And same over here. Yaakov, you disrespected your father to respect your mother. Yes, you did kivud avahim, but at the same time you didn't do kivud avahim. It's like contradictions. You respect your mother, but you disrespect your father. But what if Reuven just left it there? If Reuven just left in Bilhah's tent, then what would happen? Then really he wouldn't disrespect any of them. Even though Leah would get not as respected as if he wouldn't have not done that. It still doesn't matter. So that's what happened with Reuven. He disrespected his father by moving his bed to Leah's tent. Now, of course, the obvious question is, why was Yaakov in Bilhah's tent? Doesn't make any sense. Why wouldn't Yaakov himself just go to Leah's tent? It doesn't make sense for him to just be in the maidservant's tent. It doesn't make any sense at all. That's the big question over here. And there's really a couple of answers to this question. Well, one of them is Bilhah. We know Bilhah was the maidservant of Rahel. Now, we have to know when the maidservants got married, they weren't maidservants anymore. Before that point, when they weren't married, they were still maidservants to Bilhah and Zilpah were still maidservants to Rahel. So what happened over here? They were no longer maidservants once they got married. And once they all got married, there were no more maidservants. And you should know that actually it's very interesting that Bilhah and Zilpah and Bilhah and Zilpah were half sisters to Leah and Rahel. And they became the maidservants. Very interesting, how were they half sisters? Because they had the same father, but they had a different mother. That's how it works. That's what happened. Because those days they used to marry more than one wife. That's how it worked. So all the Shevatim were considered half brothers because they really, like, the ones that came from different mothers were considered half brothers. Like, let's say, for example, Yosef, who came from Rahel, and you take Reuven, who came from Leah, they're half brothers because they, even though they have the same father Yaakov, the mothers are different. But anyways, over here, what we were trying to say is that once it was over, once they weren't anymore, they're no longer the maidservants. Bilhah was still loyal to Rahel, even though I'm not your maidservant. As we said before. I'm not a robot. I'll help you out. She still was loyal to Rahel, even though Rahel wasn't really she wasn't the maidservant of Rahel anymore. But still, she was still loyal to Rahel, and Yaakov wanted to respect her for that. So that's why Yaakov was with Bilhah. And that's one answer. And there's also another answer. Another answer, I think it's a good another answer that once Rahel died, who was nursing Yosef and Binyamin? Bilhah. That's why. The children Yaakov loved the most was with Bilhah. Simple. Well, now that we got that straight, why Yaakov was with Bilhah and not Leah. Now that we also said that Reuven was he made a mistake by disrespecting his father and everything. Let's take this to this week's parasha to see why Yosef did get the Behor. Why not any other brothers? Why Yosef specifically? And we see in this week's parasha, Yaakov tells Yosef, I buried the streets. Now, think about it. Who was Yaakov's main wife? Rahel. First priority wife. So who would you expect to be buried in the Me'arat HaMachpelah? Rahel. But in the end it was Leah. So what could have Yosef said? Yosef could have said, hey, why are you disrespecting her? You know, she's your main wife and everything. Why didn't you just bury her with you? You should bury her in the Me'arat HaMachpelah. And that's it. She's your main wife after all. He wanted to protect, he could have protected his mother. Look, why did he do this? And of course we know the reason why is because Rahel is going to pray for us when we're in exile and everything. And when the harsh times, she's going to pray for us. That's what she says. But anyways, so Yosef, it's like, he could have been like, come on. Don't you think it's not nice? It's very similar to the Reuven's thing. But the difference is, Yosef didn't say this while he could have said it. Not to disrespect his father, but Reuven's mistake was he did take charge of it. He said, how could this be? And then he just moves it in the end of the day. So Yosef didn't complain. He didn't say anything. That's all. Yosef respected his father, even though it's very hard. You have a good excuse. You could have defended your mother. Look, Hazit, your mother's buried on the roads. Come on, Hazita. So Yosef could have said that, but he didn't say that. And he got rewarded with being the Behor. Which, now you could see why that he got the Behor, because he respected his parents. Now a lot of us, we say, oh, I do kivuda by him. I'm the best. I can keep it the best out of everyone. No, why not? I'm very good. What do? I 100% they say, we follow kivuda by him for sure. We respect our parents. When our parents say to us, do something, we do it. That's kivuda by him, no? We respected them. We did everything right. Okay, that's kivuda by him. You could say that. But really, most of us, majority of us, don't even keep it. Why? It's one of the hardest mitzvot to keep. Kivuda by him, you could say, what? And I thought, of course, that's only one of the things. Whatever they tell you to do, you do. But there's much more to it, and some of us don't know this. Is if you don't listen to what your parents say, and it's already an avera, avon. You didn't listen, avon. That's one thing. Now, another interesting thing let's say your parent texts you and you realized it. You just turn off, oh, I'm learning. Even if you're learning, you see a text, you don't answer it. Avera. Why? You're disrespecting your parents. You're supposed to, even if you're learning Torah, you know. If your parent calls you, it says, it tells you, oh, go help me out or something, and you're learning. What are you supposed to do? Close the sefer, go help. If you don't, say, no, I'm learning. No, I can't. Avera. Again, you can't do a mitzvah through an avera. That's not how life works. The parent says to do something, your father or your mother says to do something, you have to listen. Even if it's a mitzvah or anything. Another very interesting thing is if your father, he says he's talking to someone, even or if he's talking to you. He says, let's say today's Thursday, and by mistake he said today's Tuesday. He didn't know the date. He just said it's Tuesday. You're not allowed to say, no, it's really Thursday. Avera. It's disrespect. You embarrassed him. That's disrespect. What you're supposed to do is keep quiet. Don't say a word, even if he's wrong. And another very interesting thing is you're not even allowed to agree to your parent. If your parent says something, he didn't ask you for your opinion. You're just like, he's saying, oh, you know, this and this happened. You say, yes, I that's for sure. I agree with you. You're also not allowed to do that. Your parent didn't ask you for your permission. Who said he asked you for your comment? I agree. Of course, if he asked you, what do you think about this? Say, okay, say whatever you want. But if he didn't ask for your opinion, it's a sin. And now you all think, whoa, I never knew it was so strict. Really, kibud avayim, most of us don't keep, unless if you're on it's very hard, one of the hardest mitzvot to keep. Now, who kept kibud avayim the most in history? You could guess. Who? Yaakov, Leah, who respected his parents the most? And you might be surprised with this answer, and it was Esav. Esav respected, had the most kibud avayim as anyone, more than Yaakov, more than anybody ever. This big Rasha had one thing good about him. He respected his parents. If Yitzhak were to tell him, he say, go get me a cup of. Once he not even finishing the sentence, he already has a cup of water in front of him. Say, huh? Oh, that was good. I didn't even finish my sentence, and you already have a cup of water. Yeah, Esav was better than anybody else. Take out the garbage right away before. That's even. We see, of course, everyone has things that they're good in. They're just like some people. They're born with hesed. They like to do hesed. Some people like to give zakah. Some people like to learn Torah. Some people, they're humble. We are all born with these traits. These traits of ours that of course we have. Of course, we have things that we're also not good in. We have sometimes, some of us have gava. We have pride. We're stingy people. That's some people. And of course, no human being is perfect. And that's why we have the Torah. So we could fix ourselves. To make ourselves perfect as possible. That's why the Malachim didn't get the Torah. The Malachim, they complained. They said, why didn't we get the Torah? They're sinning, they're doing Avirot. Hashem answered, you know why? It's because they're doing these Avirot they have the Torah. Meaning that basically the reason why they got the Torah is to fix those Avirot, to fix their bad ways, to fix their stinginess and everything. When a Malach is created, it stays on the same level. It doesn't go up and down like humans. Humans sometimes we're greater people at some point. Sometimes we drop. But Malachim, they never raise. They never, whatever spiritual level they're on, they stay. But humans, us people, we change. We're not perfect. If you don't go up and down spiritually, that's a malach type of thing. That's an angel. You're not. But either way, that's why we have the Torah, because we can go up and down. And the Torah is basically the ultimate musar to help us, to change our bad ways, to change our bad things. Like the example of kivud alayhim, some of us they treat their parents like garbage. They scream at them and everything. That's of course it's a big sin. You're also not allowed to, if you're a parent and something says, you say come and eat the food or something, or you say do you like the food? If you say no, it's avirah. Why? You're making them feel bad. Oh look, of course now it's not easy. Not saying it's easy, but really that's the way it is. Of course, the harder it is for us and we do it, of course, the bigger reward. So really, the whole point is that we have to change ourselves. We could change ourselves. We can, if we want, if it's our will, something we want to do, we can beat it. If some people always say, oh, I'm too weak, I can't conquer my yitzhara, I can't beat it, it's too hard for me. Too hard. I want to do it, but I just can't. That's what people say. How do you get yourself, first of all, how do you beat your yitzhara? How do you beat the Satan? Whenever you do something good, it comes because of your will, your desire to beat your yitzhara. That's what it comes from. If you're too weak, you don't have that will, automatically you collapse. But if you have the will, oh, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to kill, I'm not going to steal, that's how you beat your yitzhara. That's the way. Just like we said before, if you want Mashiach to come, you have to want it to come with effort. Over here also, if you wanna win your yitzhara, you have to want to win your yitzhara. You have to put the effort. Have the will first. If you have the will, you're gonna put the effort. That's how life works. The harder you work on something, of course, the more accomplished you'll feel. And that's how Hashem created the world. Whenever you have something, right? You were working on this for a long time. You finish it, wow, you have such a pleasure. You know, frustration is actually something we like to do. Say what? Who likes to be frustrated? From this, we see frustration. Let's say you have a game. Press the button, you win. Who would get it? Who would get this game? No one. Are you crazy? What type of game is this? It's too easy. We want frustration. The harder it is, the more frustration it is. Of course, that meaning the more we want to do whatever we want to do, the more of a chance it has to come true. This is what it teaches us. So Bezat Hashem, we'll continue to desire, we'll yearn to do Hashem's mitzvot, and we'll do everything we can to be our yitzhara, to win, and make sure that we never go off the derech and go off the wrong way for the sake of Hashem.